Don Coakley is a composer out of Scarborough. He's well known as an educator. He almost single-handedly built the Scarborough Board of Education's music department. Many of my friends who went to school in Scarborough always had many great things to say about him. He's a well-known composer. We've played some of his music before, including his classic piece, Lyric Essay, which he wrote many, many years ago for a school group, still always on the festival lists and quite a popular choice among bands. The piece that he came up with, Designs and Variations, I think has been the hardest piece for the group to deal with in this season. It's a very intricate piece of music. It's about 4 minutes based on a small little idea that he varies and expands as the piece proceeds. But he's using contemporary techniques that a lot of performers still aren't entirely comfortable with. For example, the concept of bitonality. The first notes that are heard from the band are a pair of a series of triads rising in the brass, which are really 2 sets of triads, one B flat stacked on top of an A flat, which is a difficult sound for brass players to tune to if they're not used to hearing it. The final chord is a stack of notes beyond any triad that one might hear out of Mozart or Beethoven. It really is quite a towering tonal structure, and I remember the very first rehearsal when we sight read it, there were lots of looks of bewilderment as people wondered whether they had actually played it right. And that's the challenge with contemporary music, music that is kind of pushing the bounds of what players are used to. There is always that moment of, is this really what it's supposed to sound like? And I think it took a long time for the piece to grow on the band members.
Everyone in, 41 please. If you got a held note, you don't need to play the held note. It's from the old phrase, we don't need it. 1 and 2 and 3 So we have a subito forte, suddenly loud, then a crescendo to a forte, which isn't going to do anything. You can't. How can you go from loud and then get louder to loud? You're not heading anywhere. Can you play it like this? Da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da da. So use the quarter note to pull back a little bit, and the same thing goes for the woodwinds. A bar later, 48. Da 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 dee da da da. So we have a little bit of shape on that. Can we do 47 and 48? So the first two are loud. Da da. Pull back on the quarter note and then crescendo to the next downbeat. Just the people who have that figure, 47 and then echoed in 48. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. Yeah, don't be afraid to get louder again. Let it come back again. 2 and 3 and 4 and. I think I'd like it to get louder sooner. Da 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 da. 3 and 4 and. Yes. Thank you.
Don's music in this piece is highly contrapuntal. It's highly layered. Everybody is doing something that's interesting. There's no clear-cut answer as to who is the background and who is the foreground. And that becomes very tough for younger players to try to navigate when they're playing.
I love the original compositions this year. I think it's going to make this year the best. I'm looking forward to performing Donald Coakley's piece, especially because I used to actually study with him when he came up to Scarborough Music Camp, and I saw him when I was grade 4. So I'm really looking forward to doing that piece for him and having him participate in our concert.